Hello, I'm Renaun Erickson, a platform evangelist with Adobe. Welcome to the Flex 3 to Flex 4 migration series. In this video, I'm going to present the migration tip, changing namespaces, and MXML and CSS. In Flex 3, the default namespace for MX components and MXML language-specific elements resides in one namespace. Flex 4 provides us with a new component set. This new component set is called the Spark components. With the Spark components and the MXML components, there's the possibility of having different components with the same names in one XML file. This is where namespaces come in. Namespaces allow you to uniquely define these different components with the same names in one MXML file. In Flex 4, we have the separation of these frameworks. Unlike in Flex 3, there is just one. Flex 4 separates these into three namespaces, broken up into three areas. The first namespace, namespace FX, defines all the MXML language-specific elements. The second namespace, MX, defines all the MX component set. And thirdly, the S namespace defines all the Spark component set. Along with being able to define different components in one MXML file, you also need the ability to be able to uniquely define your components across the whole application for styles. So in Flex 4, we have the ability to use namespaces in the CSS files. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I'm talking about. Here I have a Flex 3 application inside a Flash Builder 4, which I use for migrating my Flex 3 to Flex 4 applications. It's an MX application with the old namespace. So the first thing we need to do is add the new namespaces. We're going to go ahead and add the first one, the FX, and give it the proper URL. And then we'll add in the Spark namespace. And you'll see that the MX namespace is also defined as a library under Flex and then MX. So it's a little more relevant and showing you that there's separation of component sets, Spark and MX. So now let's go ahead and save that and see what happens. And you'll see that the style property here, which is a MXML language specific element, it's not a Spark component or MX component. It's saying that it can't find itself because MX doesn't, it's not an MX component. So we need to change this to the MXML language specific element FX namespace. When we change the application MX to Spark application, we will lose the ability to have the layout defined as a property, but we need to define it as an object. And I want to be able to have a vertical layout to show you some different buttons. So I'm going to add the vertical layout. And then I'm going to go ahead and add MX and Spark buttons. First, we're going to put an MX button and give it a label of MX button. Next, we're going to add a Spark button. Call that Spark button. I'm going to go ahead and add another MX button and Spark button that are going to share the same style name to also illustrate that capability in the styles. Okay, so we have some different buttons here and the two different component sets. So now we can go into the actual style sheet and apply different styles to the different components even though they have the same name. First thing we need to do is define the namespaces, which in the new Flex 4 CSS syntax looks like this. You'll see that the URL up here is the same as what we had in the application with library ns.adobe.com flex spark and ns.adobe.com flex mx. So let's go ahead and add styles to our different buttons, and this is done with a syntax that looks like this. So our spark button, let's go ahead and make it larger, and with our mx button, let's go ahead and make the text look red. And then for the shared style, what we want to do is make it big and make the text blue. So we called this style name shared style. We need to go ahead and apply that to the two buttons in the application. When we run this, what we have is the first one is the MX button that we defined with namespaces in the style sheet file to be red, the spark button to be larger, and then the ones sharing one style name to be larger and to be blue. There we have it. I just showed you the first steps of migrating your Flex 3 to Flex 4 application by changing the namespaces in your MX application to a Spark application and defining the 3 namespaces needed, and also defining the namespaces needed in your style sheet. To learn more about migrating your Flex 3 to Flex 4 application, visit us at Adobe Developer Connection.